Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the channel. I am aTone. This is aTone Tarot Aquarius. You are tuned in for the topic of new levels, new devils. I will be breaking this message down into fours by way of quarters. The first quarter of 2026, what level of challenges are you going to face in 2026 that you need to look out for? The second quarter, the third, and the fourth quarter of 2026. I have 4 decks here. I will be pulling via the tarot for the first quarter, the character oracle deck for the second quarter. The third quarter will be the Kipper, and I'll close you out with my inner wisdom deck. So when I say new levels, new devils, Aquarius, I'm talking to an Aquarius collective who is aspiring for new heights, right? You want more, you want bigger, you're going after something greater, whether it be spiritual health, mental health, financial health, whatever it is, you want to improve in an area of your life, right? So when you elevate, you have to deal with a new set of challenges, right? So I'm here to break down a message on what those challenges are going to look like for you, Aquarius. So without further ado, let's get up into your message. If you could, please smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. To my newcomers, I appreciate you. And to my returning viewers, welcome back. You are appreciated as well. So let's get on up into this message, Aquarius. Let's see. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What new set of challenges do my Aquarius have to look out for in the first quarter of 2026? And when I say first quarter, I'm talking January to March. First 3 months of the year in 2026 on this, over on this American side, But listen, man, the first 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of the year, however you slice it up for your sign, wherever you are located, however you break down the year and your fiscal year and all that. I'm not getting into those technicalities. I'm going from a place in which, I said. All right, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for my Aquas. What do we have? I hope all is well with everyone out there. Come on, Aquarius. Let's see. What do we have? One more card, please. All right, let's see. Here we go. There it is. All right, Aquarius, so you received the 3 of Coins, the Empress, the 6 of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Hierophant in reverse. So as it relates to the first quarter of 2026 and your challenges, they might be work related. With this 3 of Coins being here, that's work all day. And if it's not work, it's a collaboration of some effort between you and 3 or more people, trying to get them all on the same page. And it feels like with the Empress being here, you're in the middle of 2 groups or 2 people. You are in the middle. And both people on either side or groups look to you as the authority, Aquarius, but you can't serve two masters. So the challenge becomes you having to decide what the best course of action is as it relates to maintaining a certain amount of integrity and honor. And with the King of Pentacles being here, you might have to make a decision to depart from a job because of your personal beliefs. Somebody or something is challenging your personal belief system, and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I cannot be this person that you want me to be in order to make this money. So there may be some heavy questions around whether or not you stay or you ask someone to leave your business or organization, because you're like, you have not been honorable with the way you manage my coin. So I'm picking up on someone who is high ranking in a business, in an organization, with this Empress being here, and there's a someone underneath you who has not been maybe managing the money correctly, or someone above you. Somewhere you're in the line, Aquarius, and someone is not doing something the right way, and you see it, and you're not okay with it. It makes you look at your principles, because you're like, I'm not a liar, I'm not a thief, I just am not doing that. So in the first quarter of 2026, your beliefs and what you stand for and what you're really about may really be challenged. Yeah, some challenges are going to pop up as it relates to maybe your belief system and how that aligns with how you get your money. There's a direct cross to it. There's a conflict somewhere, right? Where you have to make some tough decisions around what comes next as it relates to your money. But no worries, Aquarius, with this King of Pentacles being here and the Empress being here, and they're all upright, something will work itself out. Don't stress too much. Don't jump out the window, is what I'm saying. Don't, because Aquarians are quick to react, respond, and behave to something when it comes down to truth. And perception is truth as well, Aquarius. So just be mindful of that you may find a way to navigate these bumpy waters and find a middle ground. But there's a hypocrite amongst you, in your midst, and you don't like it. You don't like hypocrites. And I know, because I'm an Aquarius. Yeah, we have a certain code. It's like, no. When something is not quite right, we have to speak to that thing. We need to understand why certain things that are being said in one arena are not being said in another. Or you're saying one thing, but you're behaving another way. In this arena, yeah, the Aquarius sees something. There's a hypocrite that is like a thorn in this Aquarius side that makes them say, we got to get away from that energy. Something needs to be done. Well, we're going to see how this plays out. You let me know, Aquarius, what the first quarter of 2026 is for you. But we're going to move on, because that was a very clear and distinct message, if I do say so. But let's get into some of the characters that may be involved in what's going on as it relates to your challenges for 2026. For my Aquarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Please let me know. I'm just, picking topics that I think would be interesting or people will want to know about. I've been soliciting topics from you guys. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to tap into. I would love to hear it, or share with me what I'm tapping into and have tapped into and how it's played out for you. I want to hear it all. Talk to me now. Talk to me nice though. Talk to me nice. All right, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the second quarter. The second quarter of 2026. And that begins in April and concludes at the end of June. The second quarter of 2026 for my Aquarius collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. There you go. One more card, please, Spirit. All right, so for the second quarter of 2026, my Aquarius received vendor, player, chef, journalist, painter. So new levels, new devils in the second quarter. This really looks like an Aquarius who may be stepping out on their own and starting their own, working with vendors that's pulling in resources to create something of your own. You like similar but not identical to Capricorn are deciding to become the co-creator of your life. Between you and the Almighty, you ready to get busy on redesigning, revamping, and creating a space of fluidity and independence for yourself, to where you're not in situations like we saw in the first quarter spread, Aquarius, with that hypocrite and having to play the game and do all of that. You may have to still play the game a little bit, but it's looking like you're making some notes to transition your life out of one setup into another. And I'm trying to speak as generally as possible because I know we all possess a different skill set as it relates to how we go about getting our money. So I don't want to make any assumptions there. But like I said, and some of you may already be entrepreneurs, but you need to switch lanes for some reason. Meaning you might be in the real estate business and you want to transition from the real estate business to a restaurant. Similar business because, you got to locate space. So you have that skill set of real estate in your pocket. You know what to look for and how to acquire the space. But the culture of running a restaurant and the network of people who move in those circles, you haven't necessarily broke into that industry yet. That's just an example. Yeah. So you're making some notes and really, I don't want to say, I'll say it, interviewing people. The people you come in contact, you want to know, are they resources or distractions? You want to know that right away. So in the second quarter of 2026, that is from April to the end of June, which is pretty much the summertime, right? The spring summer area. You are attracting in a certain network of people around you. And if they're not those individuals, you're probably not going to spend very much time with them. I'll say that. Aquarius, you're interested in drawing into your world people that think like you and can help assist, take your business or dream or goal or whatever it is across the finish line. So as it relates to the challenges you might face in doing this, be careful of, someone trying to play you or doing the same with you, because we are all on this. Well, I won't say all. Most of us are on this chase to acquire whatever it be. It could be health, it could be money, it could be family, it could be love, it could be a lot of things. Whatever your thing is, we're all on this chase to acquire, right? So if you have a certain amount of game theory and modus operandi and objectives, Aquarius, what makes you think other people don't? So watch out for that. And I'm also picking up on someone who's going to play a sucker to catch a sucker. Someone who is going to act like they don't understand something just to get more out of you. And they could be making notes. So be mindful of doing too much of this in the second quarter of 2026, Aquarius. Don't do too much talking. Write some things down and make some moves. He looked like he up late at night. That's also what I'm picking up on. You might have to burn the candle at both ends of the stick in the second quarter of 2026, Aquarius, to get to that place. You need that extra amount of time, because you might have to be one thing during the day and something else at night, just to double down on the race, if you will. Also, very specific message. Be careful, some of you, in the second quarter of 2026 about giving your information out to a vendor. You know how we'll, okay, I'll hire you to do this job, and the job is going to take 3 months. So I'm going to pay you monthly, and you can auto debit via my account information. Do some background checks on this vendor. Make sure they certified, because they could be playing you too, Aquarius. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're working with someone and not all of their paperwork is in order, and you're about to hand over some of your financial information to get something started, don't move too fast. Think about that. No. I need something a little more encrypted, if you will. This is me giving you a Zelle payment, or I don't know, just it shouldn't be loose. Make it official. Don't let someone talk a good game and pretend like they are running a business, because remember, I said we all on that chase, because somebody could sound real good and they could be selling something that you really need, and you don't think about the fine print at the time, because you want what's on the other side of the services or products that this vendor is offering. So be mindful and careful of that. But also, last thing before I move on to the third quarter of your spread, with Chef being here, if I do recall, and I could be wrong, I don't know, but I'm almost certain, I spoke to someone, I spoke to my Aquarius, and I said there was someone creating a well orchestrated plan in the past. Like, they had a well laid out plan on how to finesse you, play you, make sure you're meditating, praying, protecting yourself. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but there could be, as far as new levels, new devils, people watching, taking note of what you're doing and wanting to, I don't want to say come after you, but create annoyances for you purposefully, on purpose, Aquarius. But they make it seem like, oh, I didn't know I was doing that. Check that, Aquarius. So this is not something where it's like, oh, it's so bad that it could cause it's life or death. But it's somebody trying to play with you. It's somebody trying to play with your patience, it feels like. Like they're trying your patience. And they almost want to see you disgruntled for some reason. And whatever that is, start figuring out a way to either sidestep it or not be so stressed by it. Because when people try to insult your intelligence, it can be a trigger to cause you to, again, question, become assertive, aggressive in such a way to where you're seen as the bad guy. So just be mindful that people sometimes, when they play dumb, it could be a real good act. When someone behaves as if they don't know, or, oh, my bad, I didn't know that was gonna, yeah, no, they knew what they were doing. Especially if you have repeated offenses on the books with this particular individual. But I digress. We're going to move on to the third quarter of your spread, Aquarius. And if you haven't done so already, please smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Your girl would greatly appreciate it. All right, Aquarius, for the third quarter of 2026, what new or sets of challenges will you have to deal with and be faced with in the third quarter of 2026? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for my Aquarius. All right, I'm using the Kipper to break down this spread, pulling 5 cards. Please, Spirit, 5 cards. 2 more cards. One more card, please, Spirit. All right, so for the third quarter of 2026, for my Aquarius collective, you received occupation, despair in reverse, wealthy man in reverse, marriage, and expectation. So as it relates to the third quarter, for maybe some challenges that my Aquarians might face in the third quarter, and this is represented by, or the time frame is July to the end of September. All right, so that's that time frame. It's interesting because with despair in reverse, I'm picking up on an Aquarius who took my advice and said, you know what, I'm not going to allow someone to stress me, right? And it bankrupt another individual in a certain way with wealthy men and reverse. You removed your energy. You said, okay, fine. I'm gonna just work my hustle. I'm gonna do my thing with occupation. I'm gonna focus on work and what I can do, and only what I can do in the situation. Because remember, in the first quarter of 2026 for your spread, your challenge was work. It was work related. right? And despair is in reverse. And you have wealthy men in reverse. So it feels as if you've taken the responsibility off of your shoulders, Aquarius, and inadvertently it's caused someone to lose some income. And this is in relation to possibly a partnership. Some partnership, whether it be romantic or someone you work closely with. So with despair in reverse, the first quarter, my Aquarians were rocked by way of somebody being a hypocrite. And they was like, I can't do this. This is, and you were questioning maybe some of your own values and what maybe you had to do. So in one way or another, you removed your energy from this and are working towards a different occupation or focus on a different occupation. And that bankrupt someone else, with wealthy men being here. The division of this partnership, or you removing yourself from this, and somebody might be calling you back and saying, wait, can you please come back? I thought this was going to work out better for me, but it's not. So that hypocrite or whoever had you questioning your morals, principles, so much so that you felt the need to exit, or at least remove your energy, remove the amount of work you gave or dedication you gave to something. You might drop down to just the bare minimum and be like, nah, I'm only do my 8 and skate, and then I'm going to focus my attention on my own endeavor, and I'm going to give that 150. Your energy is redirected. That shift is felt. Basically, you realize that you cannot keep a boat afloat anymore. You can't be the star of the show anymore. So you take a step back in whatever arena it is, whether it be work, whether it be family, whether it be a romantic relationship. You, Aquarius, know what this is. And if this is not your message, don't force it. If it don't apply, let it fly. But if something in a partnership is not working and you realize, like, all right, I can't give to this anymore. That's what this is looking like in the third quarter. You remove that level of stress that you had of being that person that both groups came to, and you having to maybe wear two masks, two face at one point. You got rid of that. You said, I ain't doing that. Remember, that 6 of Swords was there. You was like, So either you left the situation or you pulled your energy back and you made it up in your mind that I'm going to do only what I'm supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to give to one side of the group in the sense of, here, you handle it. I'm sorry, not give to one side of the group, but remove myself from this all the way around the board. You take a step back and you divide in a partnership, and it ultimately costs someone something. So much so with expectation here, they might call you or want to have a conversation and say, wait a minute. I know what I said, and I know I made you feel despair, but what's going on? Can you come back? There's an offer made with expectation here. What expectation is usually good news that you'll receive within I'll say 28 days of a decision that you made. It's almost like you know it in your gut, Aquarius. You're like, I'm just going to wait for the other shoe to drop, but I'm not going to be around when it does. Holla at me. Deuces. I'm going with my intuition. I'm going with what I know. I know I gave 150 and I did what I was supposed to do while in the situation. So, because somebody is going to suffer financially. It's going to take a financial loss by way of not continuing to walk a certain way upward and with integrity. Yeah. If this person is not moving with fairness, honesty, with Aquarius is not with that. They can't align with that. And they remove their energy or themselves. Some of you might be walking away from a job and saying, look, no, I can't do that. I cannot lie and hide in that way. So I'm good. And when you leave, that deficit causes an issue where the bottom falls out for somebody right before you got off the ship. Again, if it's not your message, if it don't apply, let it fly. But in the third quarter of 2026, I feel my Aquarius are going to say, you know what? Money isn't everything. Basically, that's what this is giving. Money isn't everything. My stress levels and my health and my emotional state are more important to me. And I'm all over the place with this thing or partnership, whatever it is. It was causing major stress to my Aquarius. And you decide to let it go and say, I can't do this, because it was having you either spin out in a circle in your head. It was causing you stress in your body. And if stress is in your body, you start to get sick. So it could have been coming to a very dire point where you had to make a decision on whether it was you or this thing or person. And you chose you. And it was a good choice, it looks like, because someone may be spinning the block and saying, hold on, Aquarius, let's have a conversation, or maybe we can work some things out. Yeah, because that's all I'm going to say for that. But let's close out your message with this inner wisdom deck for the last quarter of 2026. And that would be from October to December. For my Aquarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, what new levels, new devils do you need to be aware of in the last 3 months of 2026? Let's see, Aquarius. How are you going to close out the year? I said this, meditate. Protect your space, your mind, your heart, all of that. What do we have for my Aquarius collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. One more card. I don't do cards that fall on the floor, Aquarius. So I'll shuffle that back in. But one more card, please. And there it is, Aquarius. So for the last 3 months of 2026, you receive meditate, flexibility, move on, suck it up, and loss. Again, this is feeling like a continuation of the previous spread of what I just said. You may have to walk away from an employer or a partnership, and you may struggle with moving on. So the challenge of moving on, you won't have to suck it up, Aquarius. We know it's going to be hard. You're going to have to be flexible. You might have been conditioned in a certain way for a very long time, meaning that you're used to whatever this is, right? And there's a loss that you're taking, and now it requires you to be flexible. Whether you have to think in a certain way, behave in a certain way, how you get your money, how you speak, something is going to change where you have to move on, and you're going to have to suck it up. You're not going to have the time to sit, sulk, cry, and complain over the spilled wine, I'll say, because that's wine. That ain't milk. We don't cry over spilled wine. You go get another bottle. You know what I mean? It's okay. Because these moments in our life, they shape us for who we truly are, right? You might have needed to be uprooted out of a situation to fully step into your purpose, right? This feels like also something you asked for. You may not have realized you asked for this in your prayers, and the way you thought you were going to get it is not coming to you in the way that you thought it was coming. You thought it was going to be easy breezy. No ma'am, no sir, no no. No they, no them, all of the pronouns. No. Sandpaper. I think I referenced that with my Capricorns. Sandpaper is rough. And you see the dust, you see the friction, but what comes out on the other side is smoothness. I tell this story so often because it's so crazy. I don't even know like what I would do, but shoot, you gotta go through it. There was a little girl stuck in a well. I mean, like a mine. It was like a circular tube that went down, and she was stuck, right? And the way she was stuck, they had to break her arm to get her out. And the fireman was like, oh no. So he had to talk her through it, and she was like, no, you're not doing that. You're not breaking my arm. What do you mean break my arm? But it's either break this arm and get out of this hole, which this arm will heal and you will live, or you stay stuck in this hole and you die. What kind of choice is that? You gonna have to go through that pain for a moment, and of being uncomfortable, of moving into a space that is not familiar to you, and digest this loss and be flexible, Aquarius, going into 2027. And you will have to do a lot of meditating and praying. Suck it up. Lace them bootstraps up. Get yourself together and keep it pushing. Move on. You got everything inside of you to heal from whatever loss you take to get to that next stage and phase of your life. For you to fulfill your ultimate purpose in this life, you may not be able to stay where you are to do that. So with that being said, you have to move on. You have to be flexible. Suck it up. Meditate. Ground yourself. Breathe through it. Be present. Right? And I'm hoping that there's some cross watchers out there, meaning that you don't just watch my sign, you watch I'm saying my sign. You don't just watch your sign, you watch other people's sign. You know, you watch for your rising, you watch for your moon, if you know what that is, right? And you'll see that I'm pretty like direct and tough on my collective as it relates to, come on, lace up your bootstraps, lift with your knees, breathe in, breathe out. You got this. You got this. You can do this. So I'm not one to be like, oh, it's going to be okay. Take a nap. Retail therapy. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. And that's why I say you probably asked for this, Aquarius, in some of your own previous meditations and prayers. You just didn't think it would look like this. You didn't think that the path would be like this. You didn't think you would be possibly by yourself on this journey. And you like, no, 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 no. I want to go back to when I had all my friends around me. Well, them friends can't go where you going, Aquarius. So no, some of them had to be removed. And you're going to have to learn to deal with some of these losses, learn to deal with regrets, grow from the mud into a rose, a beautiful flower. What is it? The lotus flower grows from mud. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So, not the most pretty sunflowers and roses and nice soft beaten path for you, Aquarius, but heavy is the head. And some of this you called into your world. So suck it up. You can handle it. Know that you got this. Bend, stretch, meditate, pray, and move on. Because what's on the other side for you is just for you. Picture perfect. A beautiful life. All right. So that is your message. I hope that it helps. And until next time, peace.